And we are backstage right now. We are about 10 seconds away from live on River West Radio, so please stand by. Welcome to Ability MKE Now. My name is Sue Roskopf. Ability MKE Now is a show all about integration, bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We all have different abilities, and here at Ability MKE Now, we dive into this topic of diverse abilities. The concept of disability hits a wide range of possibilities. We could be talking about physical or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of hearing community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, goals of substance use reduction, and the list goes on. We all have our own experience with disability, whether it's our own, with people we know, or with people we encounter in our daily lives. Here at Ability MKE Now, we break down the barriers and celebrate the ability in all of us. Joining us today is my co-host, Michael Martin Humel. Michael is a writer, speaker, and podcaster who works to bridge the gap between disabled and able-bodied people. So glad to have you here with us, Michael. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's good to see you.
Excellent. And I believe you have an event coming up soon.
Yes, I host an event on Zoom the third Saturday of every month. It's a speaking engagement where I have people with disabilities speak on a different theme every month, and that's on Saturday at noon Pacific time.
Excellent. Wonderful. So noon Pacific, so 2 o'clock here in Milwaukee time. And we have some amazing folks joining us today. I am so happy to be bringing in first up Michael Pender. Michael Pender. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at your name. Larry Pender. Sorry, when the visual gets me right. Larry, you've been awesome to be on here with us previously as a guest, I'm going to say guest with asking amazing questions of those that have been featured speakers. And it is our turn to feature you tonight. So Larry, so
Oh,
happy to have you with us. If you want to just give everybody that reminder of who you are, where you're at, what you all do. So glad you're here.
thank you very much, Sue. Yes, it's Larry Pender. I do know Michael. I have a cousin named Michael, but he's not here, and I'm better looking than he is. So hey, we'll go with that. Um, I'm out here in Camarillo, California. I consider myself a nutritional champion of life. I mean, Sue, if I would have told my 25-year-old self that I'd be drinking green stuff in the morning and feeling better and healthier than I ever have been before, I would have laughed at myself. But you know what? It's rather interesting how our bodies work, and we learn more as we go along, and keep an open mind to find out what works and what works with our own selves, because we all are a little bit different based on where we're at.
Excellent. So, with what you all do, what is your favorite part of what you do? I'm just kind of curious where you all began with things and how did you get to where you are now?
Very interesting question. Yeah, you always look back. I am now, as I say, I'm 58 years older, as I better say I'm 30 with 28 years of experience,
Ooh, I
because
love that.
and this is for all you ladies out there. The male of the species matures around age 30, and after there, it's experience. And there's a little experience on here. Raised a family, been self-employed, running. I also have another business in the commercial honeybee field, and been very active in life. And what I've found is that as I was getting older, I didn't always have the mental clarity about things. I was getting a little fuzzy, or I'd get tired and take more naps. And what I didn't realize at first is that it was a lot of food, that it was food intake, things that I was taking in. Because in my parents' generation, you just ate stuff and everyone was still thin. And something changed in the 1990s and 2000s to the food that was offered to us in the stores. A lot more processed stuff. It looked like something. I mean, who knew Pringles is not really a potato chip. It's actually a processed stuff in the shape of something. and you notice you get a little bit more around the middle. I was thinking back earlier to the situation earlier today. Back in 2002, I worked in northern Minnesota with a beekeeper up there for all summer, and it was physical labor. I mean, I was lifting boxes 8, 10, 12 hours a day. I thought I was going to come back after 3 months of working thin, strong, and everything. But I stayed the same weight. And I finally realized why years later is because I was eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every day for lunch, adding those extra carbohydrates where I should have been focusing on a higher protein diet. And I've done that as of recently, cut out the sugar, of course. Remember, the sugar's enemy number one. Higher protein. I still consume some of the carbohydrates, but what I do to make sure I get the vitamins and extra minerals I need, I do supplement with like a super greens product, a immunity superfoods based off fruit products. And as we were talking in the green room prior to the live show, one of the a product that I have added is it's called a CalMag-D, calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D. Now, what's interesting, I was known in high school as Larry the Lobster because I went out in the sun and I would turn bright red. What I learned in my late 40s was I was very vitamin D deficient. I think about 50% of the American population is vitamin D deficient, and it's something that we need to add in. I mean, one of the challenges, the further north you go in the United States, that sun is shining, but it's not the same sunshine that they get at the equator. So you only get a certain amount of vitamin D. And then that other half of the year where the ground turns white and there's snow falling down, that really doesn't happen. And so it has a lot of effects by making sure we have good basic nutrition and take out some stuff out of our diet. I've found huge effects. One of the interesting things I've been looking back with my kids are now, my daughter's 23, just starting her nursing career. My son is 20, repurposing in college, going to go into more of a trade pretty soon. Is in the sporting events, you think all the sporting events we do with the kids growing up are all health-based things. But then I was thinking back, every time you go out afterwards, you go to pizza and cupcakes and going, now, how healthy is this? And what are we passing on to our kids here? So by creating, and I encourage all young parents to look at what they're providing for their kids so they create good habits, because what you have is the processed foods. And what I've found personally, as I've taken the processed foods out and gone to more natural foods, I just generally feel better. My energy is level all day long, and I don't get that cloudiness. I even added apple cider vinegar in water before I go to bed at night. And I did not expect anything different to happen, but I wake up before my alarm goes off in the morning. It's like there's more day, and I think I'm sleeping a little bit better because just something that I added back. So that's why I encourage all people, look at what you're actually consuming and figure out, is that serving you? Yes, sometimes that Snickers bar tastes really good, but about an hour and a half later, you're going just because of a natural sugar high. If you do need something sweet, I would encourage people to use honey as a sweetener, because it does for the medical people, and they can confirm this, is that when you take standard table sugar and processed sugar, your blood sugar goes spike up and down. With honey, you have a very level, it keeps your blood sugar level over a long period of time. And it's the spikes that put the stress on our body. So we want to do things that don't put stress on there. So hopefully I answered a few good questions for everybody. And I encourage people of all abilities in life. I mean, we all have challenges to overcome, but what we can do is we can give ourselves the best chance of having success, what you call the success you want in your life, to what level you want, by appropriately adapting your diet to what's going to give you the best energy. Not everyone will drink apple cider vinegar. Bless you if you do, but I found that helps. There's vitamin supplements that definitely help us, and taking things out like I went through a process. Unfortunately, my father, one of the things that put me on this path, my father passed away of a heart attack at age 65, generally healthy, but suddenly at age 65, he went kapoots, and it forced me to look at a lot of things. And one things I really cut, my first thing that I took out was ice cream. And that was a tough one. It literally, and I'll take me about a minute. I'll wrap up this story. It took me about 5 months. I was processing, okay, I've got to get rid of this dairy. I mean, who knew? You know what else they put in mint and chip ice cream besides dairy in there? Take a wild guess what else is in that mint and chip ice cream, Sue?
Well, I know obviously chocolate with the
Sugar.
oh, sugar, of course.
Sugar. I mean, I woke up on I remember a time or two where I woke up on a Saturday morning after eating 2 bowls of ice cream. I mean, sorry, 2. And I felt like I had a hangover from college. And it's like, then I realized it's that sugar processing in the body. And so it was interesting. I was going through the process of when you change a habit, and this is good for all of you that want to change habit. There's 2 main parts of changing a habit. There's the physical part of it, which would be putting the food in, or in the old days, you saw a lot of people smoking, the habit there, or the habit of having a cup of coffee all the time, whatever that habit is. The physical side is the easy part. It's the mental side of what that habit does for you. It's the harder one to break. But when you break that harder one, I can walk into the ice cream shop right now with the family and it doesn't affect me. So once you get both sides of those habits corrected, then you can find out what serves you. And you'll find, for everyone out there, you'll find the foods that do well for you. There's some people that go for the like high protein carnivore side. There's some people that are eating small meals 5-6 times a day. Whatever you do, do it well, and find out what serves you. So back to you, Sue.
Awesome. And that's truly, it is a decision to make changes like that. Because I know it's so easy that we have those feel good kind of foods out there, or sweets or whatever. It's like, oh, some people look at that as a reward, I'm gonna reward myself for being good, whatever it is. And is that really, sometimes stop and ask ourselves, is this really the best choice?
Yes.
Because we're all guilty of that, right?
My son had a funny saying. He says, exercise? I thought you said extra fries.
Oh, yeah.
So
yep.
I'm getting him past that one too. So
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
So words of wisdom. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So hopefully I'll help some people out there sometimes. And if you're on a pace, one of the things I always encourage people, remember, it takes 21 or more days to change a habit. Don't give up too soon. Just keep going along, and then you'll find out what works for you and stick with it. So find a good support, find some people around to support. That's one nice thing. There's online communities, there's people to work locally with, and accountability of partners can go a long ways, because you're going to take that bite and you go, oh shoot, what's Jerry gonna tell me tomorrow?
Right. Yeah, having somebody to be accountable with really makes a difference. Find a partner, find somebody. Yeah. Whatever the thing is, because you could be asking someone to help you be accountable to one thing, and the other person could be something completely different, but it still is to have that partner somehow. It's even if it's just to slow you down and make you think twice, right? That's perfect. What great words. So, well, and we do have another friend that is joining us here. I want to go ahead and bring in Shannon Dobbs to our conversation here as well. Shannon, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Sue. Thanks for inviting me on.
So I wonder if you can just give everybody a quick intro, who you are, what you're all about.
Well, I'm definitely not going to be able to keep up with Larry. That was quite a monologue. I was impressed. I'm definitely not going to follow that act. Just in short, I am a former Army veteran. I got disabled back in 1995 from a parachuting accident, messed up my back and gave me a stroke. That diverted me into the supply room for about a year and a half while I was basically the armorer for my unit. Got to learn logistics, got to feed troops out in the field, really understand how things move around in the supply world. And then after I got out of service, I got into business for myself, became a very successful entrepreneur in the nightclub industry for many, many years. Sold my business in 2017, got into food justice advocacy, and ultimately transitioned into climate advocacy. And so right now, what I'm focused on is ways to create upstream interventions that will empower our food system to be able to support our communities at a higher order of potential. So really dealing with food waste and waste to value strategies to be able to get stuff out of the landfills and back out to the farms where farmers can grow us better food, creating opportunities in inner cities where we can sell food to people on a regular basis where supermarkets can't cash flow, and ultimately creating opportunities for us to be able to steward our scarce resources more efficiently as we're moving into uncertain times.
Oh, excellent. There's so much there. My goodness. I'm so glad you're here with us today. I'm gonna actually make sure to open this up with Larry or Michael if either of you have questions as well. Or if Shannon, if you have anything you want to ask of Larry too. So open dialogue here tonight. I want to make sure everybody has their piece out there. So actually, Michael, do you have anything first off?
Nothing at the moment. I'll chime in if I think I've thought of anything.
All good.
Sue,
I'm super in line with Larry's messaging, because the quality of the food that you're eating, the sugars, all of that really impacts low income communities a lot more heavily than really other communities do. A lot of times, if you don't have a healthy grocery store or access to healthy food in a neighborhood, people are going to gravitate to whatever's available. And a lot of times it's junk food. It's going to be your sugary snacks. It's going to be your microwave burritos, all the stuff. And over time, that really stacks up. I've got friends that have passed away in their 40s from preventable food related diseases. You see it all over the country. The top 10 the top 10 deaths in the US are preventable food related deaths. So it's really a problem in our country, and it's getting worse. And hopefully the strategies that I'm working to instill and implement and advocate for across the country, including Milwaukee, is these are things that everybody needs. Our cities they're not really equipped for how to approach these strategies. So I'm really pivoting over to the farming community and educating farmers on how they can actually approach cities from a vendor relationship to be able to get resources back out to the farm, get it back into communities, get it out of landfills so it can stop polluting our air and creating methane emissions. It's really kind of driving us off a cliff right now.
Amazing. And go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Sue and Shannon, you bring up a great point. Is accessibility to what we call food is real easy. It's put in convenience stores, your gas stations, but the quality of what people are the quality that people are picking up for cheap is just not there. It's volume. It puts something in your stomach, but over a long period of time, it is really having some effects on what we're seeing in our economy. You look back, you see pictures of beach photos from the 1940s, and they're all nice and thin and healthy. And then you see a beach picture from 2005 or 2015. It's a totally different scene. And it's there's just so much. There's actually a lot of science done in that industry for how flavors, you get addicted to a Dorito or a onion chip or whatever, and they taste so good. And it does take some discipline to not do that. And that's where the habits really come in. And what I encourage people to do also, if you choose to do some supplementation in your diet, don't just randomly pick stuff off the shelf. Look at the companies behind what the products that are being made. That's a huge thing to do these days, even in all parts of food. Look at the companies that are making the products and see what their mission statement is, what they're doing for total and their environmental footprint, for the quality of stuff, their traceability. Are they promoting the organic side of things or non-organic, and work with there. So it's very important to do that. So I've had some good experience. There's a gentleman, not everyone knows there's a science business guy named Carl Renberg. And back in the 1930s, he was the originator of the multivitamin into the US market. And he started a little company called Nutrilite, which has been around for 90 plus years now. And it's pretty interesting because his history, he was actually for some reason, I don't know the reason why, but he was in a prison camp situation in China for about 10 years. And that's where he discovered through their medicines and plants how things can keep people healthy by having that variety of diet. So encourage people to take a good look at what they're putting in their bodies, and be smart about it and have fun while you're doing it.
I think it's interesting too. And I think about what kind of foods are approved here in the United States versus elsewhere in other countries. There's differences there too. I don't know, Shannon, like with what you have all done, is that something that you've come across? Is any of the differences in what kinds of things are approved here versus elsewhere, and how that affects what we're all eating and what's available?
Well, my focus is really stepping away from branded food completely. So we have a situation where all of our food, that if it's got a label on it, if it's branded, then it goes through a multi-stage process before it gets to you. It goes from the farmer to a processor where they cook it, they label it, they package it, they go through the whole process of getting it ready to the market. Then it goes to a global aggregator. Then it goes to your regional distributor. Then it goes down to your local wholesaler. Then it gets to your retailer. Finally, it gets to you. It's already gone through 5 or 6, 7 layers of markup getting to you. So what we're doing is refocusing on commodity foods. So your beans and rice, your spices, your pantry staples, and that's the stuff where it's healthy. And you got to look for sourcing, and you got to figure out, how was it farmed? Was it farmed using conventional practices with a lot of pesticides? Was it farmed using regenerative practices where they're using more natural elements and it's keeping some of that poison out? But it really does simplify the process if you start really looking at whole foods, at kind of the cooking staples, the raw ingredients for making meals at home. Unfortunately, in our country, for decades now, that education's been getting pulled out of our schools, and so a lot of people just don't know how to cook. They don't know how to use food that's healthy, and we're really kind of being guided towards this grab and go mentality, and this situation where the convenience trumps the health, and it overcomes our interest in what's actually in our food. And I think that's one of the really things that we need to start pushing back against as a community and as a society, and really start figuring out ways to do things at the community level that's going to educate people about coming back to the whole food ideas. And supplements are great, but there's no substitute for whole foods.
Go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, Sue, if I could end, we had an interesting experience in our family about 3 years ago. My wife and daughter took a 3-week trip to Greece and Italy. And yes, they were doing a lot of walking, but both of them lost 10 pounds on that trip, and they did not go short on anything they ate. So one of the things we implemented around here, I mean, I've cut personally, I eat very little pasta, but the rest of the family, we get the imported pasta that from Italy. It's made out of a durum wheat that is different than the wheat that's grown here in the US. And there's also there's a very large, I've got to find the name of the company, but there's a very large company out of Denmark. They're the second largest grower of vegetables in the European Union, and they do everything in greenhouses. So the gentleman who started the company back after World War II, he ended up doing this because he was allergic to the pesticides. So he just had a personal situation that he had to adapt and find ways to farm without it. And I believe we can do it here in America. We've got some brilliant people. We just need to, there's just been as Shannon was saying, it's such a big system that is built in place over many years. In fact, 2 nights ago, I came across an older video. Some people may know about a gentleman out of Canada named Jordan Peterson, and he's a very prolific talker. But somebody was asking me, what's one of the most disappointing things that you have learned as you get older in your life? And he said that the food pyramid was a lie. that food pyramid that we all grew up on in school was a big negotiated thing by all the commodities companies. It had nothing to do with our personal nutrition. So
yeah, the really sad part about that is the food pyramid has been out for over 20 years, and most people still haven't gotten the message.
Correct. The ingraining as kids. I mean, my parents, the diet we ate was similar to what they ate growing up, but it just changed. The fundamentals behind it had changed over time. So that's where we have to do our best.
They just say make half your plate fruits and vegetables. Try not to overload on the sugar. So they've actually simplified the model a lot.
That is good. That is
That's
good.
huge. Actually, say
Keep us
that
all
again.
healthy.
So half the plate, fruits and vegetables.
Exactly. If half of your plate is fruits and vegetables, then you're getting pretty close to your daily requirement. If you're eating your meals like that on a regular basis, it's a good guideline and it's a really simple one. The food pyramid was ridiculous. You're right. It was a propaganda campaign from the cereal manufacturers, and that was something that was negotiated with the USDA back in the day. We've made a lot of dumb mistakes over the years. Some of them way before any of us were born. One of the crazy facts of history is that supermarkets, the actual model for supermarkets, was never originally intended to be a business model at all. It was a marketing campaign by the US government to showcase our agricultural might to the world on TV back in the 1930s.
Wow. I never knew that.
It explains a lot. If you look
It
at
does explain a lot.
Oh yeah.
the amount of food waste that comes out, the amount of labor that they use, everything about that model just makes no sense from a business perspective. And when I found out that, I was actually on a Freakonomics podcast from 2019. They had a World War II historian that was talking about the history of supermarkets and how it contributed to winning the Cold War. And I learned about that. I'm like, no.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you see a vegetable stand, a farmer's market, that's the place where we should be going, getting as good of items as possible that way.
Right.
Well, farmers markets are great seasonally, but unfortunately, if we want to have a steady supply of real wholesome food that's 365 days a year, we really need to have a brick and mortar store in communities. And so the challenge is, how do we introduce a model that's not going to trigger defensive reactions from supermarkets, that's going to provide healthy, wholesome, sustainable food access on a regular basis? At farmers markets, unfortunately, it's a very limited amount of food that they can provide, and it's only during the harvest and the season. And especially here in Colorado, we have a very short growing season.
Here in California, we have them year round. It's a whole different environment. I was
Right.
exposed to that when I spent 3 summers in northern Minnesota, and you go back down to um, the short seasons versus California. So it's always interesting, the different areas. But then you get close down to the equator area, and you have two big seasons. You have the rainy season and the dry season. So everywhere has their different flow. So
Oh yeah.
it's always good. Just the first, I believe, Sue and Shannon and Michael, one of the first things is being aware that things aren't the things that you have been taught about food are not necessarily true in the first case, and start looking into what's going to serve you. Start taking the step by step, and we can't beat ourselves up over once if you do get the bowl of ice cream or whatever it is, but step by step, change the diet so it works for you effectively. And that's it's like one of the people on my that I'm associated with business wise, they have done the diet where they're eating small amounts 6 times a day, and both the husband and wife have lost about 45, 50 pounds each, where I'm doing more eating once a day plus a small meal, and I've taken off just over 20 pounds in the last 3 months. So everyone has a different way to deal with it. So just encourage everyone out in radio land, be aware that it's not always what you think it is when you buy it at a store. So dig in, read the labels, know that when it says hydrogenated soybean oil, it is not good for you.
Very good. And actually, Shannon, last word from you.
So my, I guess the last word would be we all need to come together to get healthy food into our systems, that we have breakthrough strategies available for getting more of the food out of landfills and back into our communities. Livingsys.org is a great website that's SYS, is a great website to go to learn more about how we can make some major changes in our food system and our health. And especially for folks with disabilities, folks that struggle in the world, this is something that's incredibly important for us all.
Conclusion is a dagger. I don't hate Donald. Donald